It's 1587. The world is on the edge of discovery, and the English are eager to stake their claim in the New World. Imagine stepping off a cramped, creaking wooden ship after weeks at sea, battered by storms and uncertainty, the salty air thick with anticipation. Your feet finally touch the sandy, unfamiliar shores of Roanoke Island, just off what we now call North Carolina, a place wild and untamed. Over 100 English men, women and children step onto this new land, their hearts filled with hope, fear and dreams of a better life. At their head is Governor John White, a man tasked with leading these pioneers to establish England's first permanent colony in America, a bold and risky venture. They bring with them not just families and tools but also the weight of expectation, the promise of opportunity, and the hope of building something lasting. The land is dense, humid and mysterious. Thick forests, tangled marshes, and a climate unlike anything they've known. Their mission is clear: build homes, plant crops, and forge relationships with the local tribes, whose ways and language are foreign and unknown. Every day is a struggle. The stakes are high. Failure could mean starvation, disease, or worse. The threat of the unknown looms over every decision. Yet, the promise of land, freedom, and a new beginning drives them forward, giving them the courage to face each new challenge. But this story doesn't end in triumph or celebration. Dark clouds gather and uncertainty grows. Instead, Roanoke becomes one of America's oldest and most haunting mysteries. A settlement abandoned, its people vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind, a single word, CROATOAN, carved into weathered wood, a message as cryptic now as it was then. What happened to these men, women, and children? Did they perish, or did they find a new home elsewhere? The questions echo through history. Join us as we dive into this enduring mystery, peeling back the layers of time, searching for answers hidden beneath centuries of silence. This is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke, a tale of hope, hardship, and the unknown. John White, both an artist and the appointed governor, leads not just a group of strangers across the vast Atlantic, but also his own beloved family, including his daughter and pregnant wife, into the unknown wilds of the New World. In this strange and distant land, his daughter Eleanor Dare gives birth to Virginia, the first English child born on American soil, a moment that fills the settlement with hope and pride. Virginia's birth is more than a family milestone. It becomes a powerful symbol of possibility, a sign that perhaps this fragile colony might truly take root and endure. But the promise of new beginnings is quickly tested as harsh reality sets in. The settlers labor to build cottages and a protective fort, but their efforts are met with disappointment as crops wither in the sandy, unfamiliar soil. Food supplies dwindle alarmingly, hunger gnaws at their resolve, and anxiety grows with each passing day. Relationships with local tribes are fraught with tension, marked by deep mistrust, cultural misunderstandings, and the weight of old grudges. The colonists find themselves isolated and vulnerable, desperately needing help, but fearing the intentions of their neighbors. Every day becomes a relentless struggle for survival, fetching water, gathering firewood, and simply enduring the elements. The dream of a new and prosperous life is quickly overshadowed by the harshness of their environment and the weight of constant hardship. As winter looms, cold winds whip through the settlement, and the settlers huddle for warmth, their optimism fading with the sunlight. The settlers are caught in a desperate balancing act, dividing meager supplies and navigating uneasy alliances with neighboring tribes. Their fight is no longer for prosperity or comfort, but for the very basics of existence: food, shelter, and safety. The once bright promise of Roanoke is slipping away, the settlement's future growing dimmer with each passing day. The fate of the colony now hangs by a thread, as hope and hardship battle on this distant, unforgiving shore. As summer ends, desperation grows in Roanoke. Failed crops and scarce supplies threaten the colony's survival. The settlers plead with John White to return to England for help. White is torn. He doesn't want to leave his family, but he knows it's their only hope. He promises to return quickly, leaving behind a secret sign. If the colonists must leave, they'll carve their destination into a tree, a Maltese cross if they're in danger. With a heavy heart, White sails for England, leaving 115 colonists behind. He expects to return in months, bringing the supplies they desperately need. As Roanoke fades from view, he can't know it's the last time he'll see his colony. His journey for help will become a years-long exile. The fate of Roanoke will be decided in his absence. The colony is left to face the unknown, alone. White's promise is their last hope. The clock is ticking. White arrives in England to find the country on the brink of war with Spain. Every ship is needed for defense. His pleas for a relief mission are ignored. The fate of Roanoke is overshadowed by national crisis. White tries everything, petitioning the Queen, pleading with patrons, but fails. The Spanish Armada comes and goes, but chaos lingers. White's attempts to return are thwarted by piracy, storms, and politics. Months stretch into years. Hope fades. 3 agonizing years pass before White finally secures passage back. He sails for Roanoke, haunted by worry for his family and colony. Did they survive? Did they make peace? Are they still waiting? The delay has turned his promise into a torment. In August 1590, he finally returns, praying he's not too late. The colony's fate is about to be revealed. The long wait is over, but the answers may be devastating. Roanoke's future hangs in the balance. On the morning of Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, John White finally returns to Roanoke after years away. The journey has been long and filled with uncertainty, but hope drives him forward as he steps onto the familiar shore. Eager to reunite with his family and the settlers he left behind, he expects to find a thriving, bustling village filled with laughter and life. Instead, he is met with an unsettling silence that hangs heavy in the air, broken only by the distant cries of birds. The settlement is gone, houses have been carefully dismantled, timbers scattered about, but there are no signs of violence, no evidence of struggle or death. It is as if the entire colony simply vanished. Nature is slowly reclaiming the land, with wild grass and vines weaving through the empty foundations, erasing the traces of human habitation. The site is deserted, eerily empty, and the sense of abandonment is overwhelming. White and his men begin a desperate search for any sign of the colonists, calling out names into the dense wilderness, their voices echoing unanswered through the trees. Then, they discover a single word carved deeply into a weathered wooden post: CROATOAN. It stands out starkly, a message left behind. CROATOAN is the name of a nearby island, home to a friendly tribe that had once aided the settlers. The word is both a direction and a glimmer of hope. White recalls the agreed-upon sign: if the colonists left under duress, they would carve a Maltese cross. But there is no cross, suggesting they departed willingly. Hope surges within White. Perhaps the colonists relocated to CROATOAN Island, seeking safety and a new beginning. He clings to the belief that his family and the settlers are alive, waiting for him just across the water, their fate not yet sealed. All he needs now is to reach CROATOAN, to follow the only clue left behind and uncover the truth. The mystery of the lost colony deepens, but hope remains alive in White's heart, fueling his determination. The word CROATOAN is both a clue and a question, a silent message from those who disappeared. The search for answers is just beginning, and every moment brings new possibilities and fears. The fate of the lost colony now hangs on this single word, etched in wood and mystery. With determination, White prepares to follow the trail, hoping it will lead him to the truth and to his lost loved ones. The CROATOAN carving is the colony's only message. CROATOAN Island, home to the friendly Manteo and his tribe, seems the logical refuge. No distress sign suggests the colonists left by choice. White is desperate to sail to CROATOAN, convinced he'll find his people. But a hurricane strikes, making the journey impossible. The ship's captain refuses to risk the storm. Supplies run low. The expedition is forced to leave, planning to return later, but never does. White is devastated, denied the chance to find his family. He never returns to the New World, dying without answers. The CROATOAN clue becomes the heart of the mystery. Did the colonists join the tribe? Did they try to return to England? Or was it a false trail? The word is not an answer, but the start of a centuries-old question. The fate of Roanoke slips into legend. The mystery endures. For centuries, Roanoke was just a legend. Modern science and archaeology now hunt for real answers. Excavations on Roanoke and Hatteras Islands have uncovered English artifacts among CROATOAN village remains. These finds suggest some colonists survived and assimilated. High-tech tools scan for buried structures. DNA studies search for English ancestry in local tribes, but results are inconclusive. John White's maps reveal hidden symbols, hinting some colonists may have moved inland. Site X becomes a new focus for digs, opening fresh theories. Despite decades of searching, no definitive proof has been found. The evidence whispers of survival, but the full story remains elusive. Roanoke's fate is still a puzzle. The search continues, driven by hope and curiosity. The Lost Colony refuses to give up its secrets. Roanoke's story haunts the American imagination. It's more than a mystery, it's a founding myth and a ghost story. The image of a vanished colony unsettles us, reminding us of the unknown's power. The colonists' hopes and fears echo the American dream and its dangers. Roanoke inspires books, films, and endless speculation. Was it peaceful assimilation, massacre, or something stranger? The lack of answers lets our imaginations run wild. The story is also about the native tribes whose world changed forever. Roanoke's legacy is one of haunting ambiguity and cultural collision. The ghosts of the colonists linger on the Outer Banks. Their silence is as powerful as any record. Some mysteries, like Roanoke, may never be solved. What really happened to the Lost Colony? We still don't know for sure. The strongest evidence suggests the colonists joined the CROATOAN tribe, blending into a new culture. Other theories persist: massacre, Spanish attack, lost at sea, or deadly disease. No theory has definitive proof. The trail went cold centuries ago. Evidence is scarce and fragmented. We have only faint clues: a carved word, pottery shards, a hidden map mark. The colonists stepped into legend, leaving us to wonder. Roanoke's story endures because it's deeply human, about hope, courage, and survival. It's also a warning about how dreams can become nightmares. The mystery persists because we can't resist trying to solve it. As long as CROATOAN remains unanswered, the search will go on. Roanoke's ghosts still call to us from the shadows of history. The Lost Colony's story refuses to die.